Welcome to Game Recognized Game. I'm Myles Turner, 11-year NBA vet, center for the Milwaukee Bucks, along with my legendary co-host, 3-time WNBA champion, Breanna Stewart, a.k.a. Stewart. We out here in Atlanta right now, man. I know it's 30 degrees here. It doesn't make no sense where I'm at, but, it's all good. I've been here for 3 days and just kind of been kicking it. What you been on, Stewie?
We've been in Miami, and it's
70, God.
75, 80. Just looking at some beach, water.
Honestly, that's love, man. That's love, man. Good for y'all, man. You deserve it at this point.
Honestly, I'm happy to be here because it's snowing in Brooklyn right now. So, listen, the warm weather is important.
It's supposed to be negative 14 degrees in Milwaukee when we get back. So, I mean, whatever. Midwest, baby, kind of is what it is.
Well, everybody knows that the weather is just all over the place right now. But we have a lot on this show today. We're going to give respect to a few players that have been showing out this season between NBA, Unrivaled, and college hoops.
Yeah, I want to learn a little bit more about the WNBA CBA situation. So we're definitely going to get into that. We got some rapid fire questions, and we'll get into some stories as well.
Mm-hmm. And then we'll go off the court for my parenting corner, and Myles is going to teach me something new, which I can't wait.
The show's called Game Recognized Game. So let's give some respect to a few of the best players in the NBA this season. First and foremost, man, I'm like an NBA junkie. So when I have my time off, I'm always on League Pass. I'm always watching, some of the late games and whatnot. So for me, you got to give some respect to my young bull from Dallas, man. Anthony Black, he's in his second year right now, and he's made a major leap this year. He's shooting the ball a lot better. The scout on him last year was to sag off. He's a driver, but now he's got to make him respect him at 3-point line now. The Orlando Magic are starting to surge a little bit more, and I think he's a big part, of that. Your young guys developing, quicker than you expect them to is always important. And yeah, man, I think he's doing well. And another Dallas hoop on the map, man. So happy there. And then we got another Anthony as well, man. Anthony Edwards, Ant-Man, as a lot of y'all know. I think he's taking a major step this season as well. He's one of the more competitive guys I've played against. You've seen him in the conference finals. You've seen the way, he goes about his business. And yeah, man, he's one of those younger guys that are, somewhat the face of the league at this point right now. So, I think he's playing at a high level. The Timberwolves are kind of surging in the West right now as well. So, yeah, NBA is always full of it's a soap opera over here, man. You never know who's going to, rise to the top.
I feel like it's just constant highlights. He just had 55. Anthony Edwards just had 55, and Anthony Black just dunked on 4 people. So,
yeah.
Those are the type of highlights that I want to be constantly checking up on. Moving on to Unrivaled players, definitely want to give love to my Miss teammate, Alicia Gray. She's been going crazy. She's like the prodigy 3x3 player. Obviously,
Lefty,
here at Unrivaled,
nice.
we're playing full court, but to be a 3-and-D player really separates you from all the rest. And I'm happy that she's on my team. We're doing way better than we were doing last year. We're off to a 3-1 start, and really just hoping to kind of continue to get after and win that $100K bonus if you win the championship.
That's love, man. I've always liked Alicia Gray. I watched her in Dallas when I would go to the Wings games, and she got a strap, man. Always been a lefty. Been a lefty with it, and she used to wear them goggles too. So I mean, that was something that
she still wears them.
Good for her, man. Childhood Myles feels good about that, man. I wore them rec specs for a minute my damn self. So yeah, man. I've always personally loved watching Chelsea Gray play. You talk about Dinesbury, you talk about this court vision. She's got like that old woman's game, but can still get to it and get active, man. And she's from what I've seen personally, she's overcoming a lot of injuries. And I think, at this point in her career, it's tough for anybody to kind of bounce back and still be an effective player. I remember I was working out. I forgot where I think it might have been LA. I think she might have did some part-time stuff with the Lakers or whatnot. And got a chance to meet her in person, just kind of rap with her. Just gave her respect, bro. Again, it's always someone I've loved watching from afar. And I think she's doing a great job with this rival so far as well. I mean, I think it's kind of cool just the fact that you guys have kind of come together, get some of the best players and just really just hoop, man. I mean, at this, outside of the real league, which it is in y'all's regular season. So, and yeah, shout out to Chelsea Gray, man. She's one of my favorite players to watch.
Yeah, she's a bucket. But listen, don't be a bucket when we play. We haven't played them yet. Chill out, Chelsea. Moving on to some women's college basketball players. Someone that I want to give a shout out to. I'm gonna bleed blue over here for the men's and women's college basketball players. Sarah Strong. Really impressed with her game. I think that her jump from her freshman to sophomore year, she just looks a lot more comfortable in everything that she's doing. And one of the biggest things is she doesn't get sped up. She's a 3-level scorer. She's all over the place offensively and defensively. I was just up at UConn, and she's really making it a point to lead the team in every single way possible.
You know me, man. I'm gonna give love to my Lady Longhorns, and got to give real love to Maddie Booker, man. Madison, if you're watching this, I'm really proud of you, man. We got a chance to rap 2 years ago up in Oregon at the Nike Skills Academy, and everything you talked about, you're making come into fruition right now. You're doing it. You've been doing it, and keep going, man. For real, I just enjoy watching you play. I think you have a really good pace to your game. I think that you are on obviously all of the the top boards when it comes to WNBA. We're definitely waiting on you at this professional level. So man, keep going, man, and keep leading the Lady Longhorns because again, you're fun to watch from afar. Your impact goes beyond just the game of hoops, man. I think there's a lot of young women out there that are looking up to you right now. So yeah, I got to give big love to the Longhorns, man. Keep them going.
Welcome.
Know what it is. And then staying on the college front, man. I can't believe I'm saying this, but we got a Texas Tech player that's actually hooping right now, man. JT Toppin, bro. It's in big fella's been fun watching him play. I watched him play against I think it was Duke about it might have been like 2 weeks ago or so. And that was my first time really getting to watch him play. I've heard a lot of hype like around him and whatnot, and I think he's playing at a very high level. Someone who's like at the top of the draft boards as well. I think he just someone's leading the charge on his team as well. To Texas Tech's playing like good basketball right now, and it's still pains me to say that, but it's all good, man. The Red Raiders is rolling a little bit.
I hope Texas Tech uses this on their Instagram account. Like, come on, give Myles a little shout out.
That's real, man. And then also Nate Mint, man. He's another person that was at that the Nike Skills Academy over there in Oregon a couple years ago. He's just a big prospect, man. He's a freshman right now, and I think he's playing at a very high level as well. I think any freshman, especially at his height and stature, trying to kind of like face up and play like with them guard skills, is going to struggle a little bit trying to go into the college game. But I think he's someone who's kind of picked it up rather quickly. I think he should be at the top of like all the draft boards as well. He's someone that I think he's a 3-and-D guy, gets up and down, is like developing his shot like a lot more, and plays above the rim. And that's very important, obviously in our league, especially coming in. And I think he's an NBA ready prospect at that. And we got my former coach, Rick Barnes, over there coaching him as well. So man, get him to the league, man. I don't care what you got to do. Get him to the league.
And lastly, shout out to my other Husky, Braylon Mullins. Heard he's going to be an NBA lottery pick.
Oh, yeah.
You heard it here first. Go Huskies.
All right, them Huskies might rolling a little bit. What y'all do? Is this y'all right here? What y'all be on?
We're like this. We got to bend the ears a little bit.
Okay. All right, fair. That's fair. I know you've been dying to talk about the CBA negotiations. Obviously it's been an ongoing thing for a while now. So in the meantime, just for people who may be fresh to the situation, can you give us like a little synopsis and kind of explain what the situation is and what your role is in it right now?
So the situation is a little bit insane with the CBA negotiations. To start, I'm a VP, so I'm a vice president on the executive committee, which is basically the committee that oversees all of the players. We're the ones that are like really kind of feeding the information to the players, but also the ones that are sitting on the other side of the table with the league. Right. And we have been in negotiations for 17, going on 17 months now, and we're really struggling to agree on the salary system. So the biggest problem with us is we're talking about gross revenue, which is revenue after expenses, and then net revenue, which is overall. Our struggle is that between the WNBPA and the WNBA, we can't figure out like a common ground. So we're past our extension. We had an extension. We're past that extension. Now we're just in this period of status quo where we just continue to negotiate in good faith. But obviously, for those that follow the W, it's, we're well into the new year and it should be free agency happening right now. Like, there should have been an expansion draft. There's a lot of things that are really going behind. So my brain is hurting a little bit. Like, people keep asking me about it. And I'm like, yeah, my brain is hurting because it's like, I want to be president Unrivaled, but also I'm a part of the EC and I want to make sure that this league happens because we're in such a monumental time with what's happening in women's sports. And we don't want to lose that. So overall, that's the gist. The biggest thing is we're struggling with the salary system, and then we struggle with the salary. And then from there, I think all the other things that we're fighting for, housing, benefits, like retired players, like that'll come once we can agree on a number. But right now we can't agree.
Understood. I think you did a great job breaking that down, especially like just in layman terms for people who may not be paying attention, as much to the situation. I got a question just from, on my side of things. I think when Fee first kind of went at the WA commissioner, or like a couple months ago, that was obviously an unprecedented thing and kind of like, made shockwaves to the league. Was that the first like telltale sign, like, that, there was going to be an issue, or was it like kind of like were there other things that were bubbling towards the top?
Yeah, I mean, I think that there were rumblings. I think that, Fee, her season just finished. She was injured and really just kind of voicing her frustrations overall, and definitely respect her opinions and things like that. But it's because we've been going through this for months and months and months and months, and I feel like we're not getting any kind of movement or shift in their direction. And that's not to say I know the WNBA wants to have a season, but I feel like there's like a line of communication that's just not happening between owners and players, or EC and WNBA, or WNPA and WNBA. I don't know, Myles, if you've like ever been in any of these rooms, but it's like, it's just it's stuffy. Like,
Okay.
you know what I
That's a good
mean?
way of describing it. Yeah.
Because you're talking about like the proposal and the amendments and all these things, and the wording is like, has to be specific to the contract. And it's like, well, let's just talk about money. When can we get to that point?
I did a little bit of studying for our last CBA. I'm not on the executive committee or anything like that, but or committee or anything like that, but I've been in some of the union meetings, and a lot of it, the way they incentivized us was like, let's just go ahead and get the CBA signed so we don't have to worry about that. And I can see on the NBA side and their lawyers side where it's like how it benefits them. I'm like, all right, if you get these players to sign this, cool, pish posh, we did what we had to do.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of people are upset now on the NBA side because if you look at a couple of these, the first, second, and third apron and whatnot, like it's not covering majority of the players in this league. There's a whole.
Isn't it like the middle man of the league is like really kind of getting screwed?
It's obsolete. Yeah, they're getting they're basically having to sign just over minimum deals. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And obviously, it's kind of comparing apples to oranges, when it comes to NBA and in the NBA with our problems right now, because it's on two different scales, if you will.
Yeah.
Like we, at the end of the day, we don't have a lot to complain about. You know what I mean? Like guys are getting paid at that. But to your point, originally it was with these lawyers and whatnot. They just obviously just kind of push it to us and incentivize us with other things that don't like really matter and all that type of stuff. Like I know a big one was they took away like drug testing, like trying to like push over the CBA. It's like, okay, you guys sign this right now, then we're not going to test y'all. And there's a vast majority of players in this league that's like, hey, you know what? That sounds like a great idea. We should do that, while not reading the fine print. So it is tough being in those rooms, because I don't think at all times, like, one, everybody's on the same page, and stuff is a good way of describing it because, again, like it's just I don't know, man, the environment just doesn't create like a really good negotiation ground, like if you will. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I completely agree. And I think like the other thing that I'll say is like, for me, it's like, this is the first time we're in a revenue shared model. So before it was like, we had like a hard cap and we had a structure, and you could have 220 max and everything else kind of trickled down. Now we're going to like really blow that out of the water, which is incredible. But I know like personally as WNBA players, it's like, well, we've signed however many CBA deals before, and we just don't want to get gypped. We don't want to feel like we're signing something and we're actually getting like screwed, because now we know how much you need us. We see the valuations between all the teams and all the things and the expansion fees. And it's like, no, there's a lot of money behind this. So like, don't forget to pay us too. So it's just really a back and forth battle.
Would you say y'all are prepared not to play this season? I know you want to, but would you say you're prepared not to play?
We've approved the strike authorization vote, which means that we're able to formally lock out whenever we want, because we have majority of the players' votes behind us. I think that for me personally, like the closer it gets to WNBA season, we're prepared to do it, to not play, but we don't want to. We want to play because we know how important it is to be on the court for a number of reasons, for the people, for the fans, for the city. But it'll be something that's really tough if push comes to shove, because, like you said, you're comparing apples to oranges. The W and the NBA, like contracts are vastly different.
Very skewed, yeah.
So it's like, the top 10, maybe 15 players can survive without a W contract.
Right.
But the rest, it's like, no, you don't want to go that much without getting paid. I feel like the PA is doing a great job of making sure that we have like the amenities and the resources. And if we don't get what we want, we will sit out. But we don't want to do that.
Of course not. And I really like what you said and like the stance you're taking. This isn't for y'all. This is like for the next generation of players, coming up and whatnot. This is going to be their model. And then eventually, when you're retired and on, you're going to want someone to pass this on. So I think it's very powerful. Obviously the state that you guys are taking it right now, very historical at that. I mean,
I definitely want to take a lot of it on myself and the EC, and just knowing like we're gonna make this thing the best thing possible. And I know a lot of people are kind of like hating about being a part of Unrivaled and also trying to negotiate the WNBA, but it's like I want two things to both be successful. And literally that's how I'm looking at it. Like I'm looking at this from a pure business standpoint and how things can be great for everyone. I think that Unrivaled, the only positives, like the only thing that Unrivaled is showing is positive. When you show players on social media or in games or wherever the case may be, people watch.
Right.
So we can't not have that for our summer season in the WNBA.
I agree. How do you think the negotiations like affected you just like personally, as a player? I mean, obviously you just spoke to me the business side of things, but how has just it affected you and just your overall psyche?
Honestly, during the season, I don't think it was as kind of chaotic as it is now. So I'm happy to be like in the off season, obviously playing Unrivaled. So on a game day when I have calls and things like that, it is a little bit more stressful. But like this is the price you pay of being in these seats. It's like if you want to be able to do both and I want to use my platform or my voice, like I have to be able to be present all the time. And I don't not want to be there and something happen and then regret it when we sign a CBA that we don't like for the next 6 years. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's your moral obligation, if you will. And I like the fact that you're like, I guess advocating and actually just like switching to that mode because again, you feel like you had to. But yeah, man, we don't have to keep like plugging away at that. I just think there's a lot of fans out there that are very, curious about what's going on, and just a lot of WNBA fans that are, going to be missing the league if nothing does happen. So y'all heard it here first, man. Make some shit happen, dog. For real, make some shit happen.
We're gonna make it happen. We're gonna make it happen. We're gonna figure it out.
All right, well, it's time for a quick break. When we come back, we'll do some rapid fire questions, and we'll find out who the best trash talker is in the W.
Welcome back to Game Recognized Game with Stewie and Myles, and let's do some rapid fire topics. I'll start first. Myles, what part of your game are you most proud of today?
I think it had to be just my ability to defend the rim. It's something that I've always had, and I've always kind of, it's like an innate sense, man. You can't necessarily like teach that. It's either you got it or you don't. I've always been a great shot blocker and whatnot. I mean, I've led the league in blocks, twice now, just in my career. So something I'm very proud of and something that I continue just to, just to keep using out there. Again, it's like a sixth sense, type of thing. So yeah. Yeah, I'm sure you know a lot about that. Who's the best trash talker in the WNBA?
So this was a hard one when I was thinking about this. I think the best trash talker in the WNBA, I'm going to go like former. So former would be Diana Taurasi.
Diana Taurasi,
she's like the ultimate trash talker. And then current, Marina Mabry. She's on the Connecticut Sun, and she's just like a firecracker. She's from Jersey. She's competitive, and she just says whatever comes to her mind whenever she wants. So I love her competitive nature. She's here at Unrivaled, and I walk by her and I'm like, no crash outs today, please. Like, don't crash out here.
Gotta love it, man. Create some personality to the game. That's fine.
No, it's great. You love the competitive aspect of it, and know that like majority of the shit that's said on the court is not. It's not anything personal. It's just said, when you're like in the heat of the game. To you, most underrated player in the NBA.
It's tough, man, because like, okay, I got a good one. His name is CJ McCollum. We're all very aware of his game. He's not like super like underrated, but he's someone who kind of flies under the radar, right? He obviously had his like really good days in Portland. And then ever since, he's kind of bounced around teams. And I think people just forget, like, he's just a cold-blooded like assassin, bro. He a killer. Yeah, he's like kind of has like a real like mild demeanor. Like he don't really talk like a lot of shit either. He kind of just goes out there and does his business. And he's He had 2 game winners on us this year, bro. Like just off rip. And again, it's like one of those things where like he's like one of those guys you kind of just like forget about because again, like he's been on like teams that, haven't necessarily been winning and whatnot. And he flies on the radar. So he's probably like one of my most underrated guys just because of, just the way he get down. So yeah. Who do you think the best leader you ever played with?
This is an easy one for me. Best leader I ever played with is Stewart. She's like my point guard, someone that I played with in Seattle for 7 years with the national team. And I feel like I kind of just followed in her footsteps. We're both from New York. We both went to UConn and we both got drafted to Seattle. And I was just trying to be a sponge. And, she's someone that she literally played until the wheels fell off. And I loved playing with her every second of that. So I miss playing with her, but I'm happy to be able to kind of go to her for guidance, for anything that I need on the court, off the court, and just call her a friend. So shout out to Sue. Got to get her on the pod. Honestly, Sue and Megan both come on the pod and we'll just rapid fire some questions at you guys.
Let's talk that talk. That's real. Okay. Like that.
You asked me this already, and I had to answer. So now I get to ask you. A time you got cooked on the court.
Man, so I think might have been like my 3rd or my 4th year. His name is Reggie Jackson. Like he's not in the league currently, but he's someone who's had a very successful career. And he was playing for the Detroit Pistons at the time. And when I was in Indiana, Detroit, Indiana, it's a big rivalry and whatnot, right? It always goes back to Myles in the Palace and all sorts of stuff. So it was actually a really close game. And it was like the 3rd quarter, something like that. And the clip is definitely out there. But he basically came by and hit me with like a double cross, bro. And like, I felt, right? Like as a big, like getting dunked on is like, all right, whatever. You know what I'm saying?
That's normal, right?
Yeah, either you was going to be on SportsCenter either way. Either you blocked or you got dunked on. But it's one of the most embarrassing things is a big getting crossed because you're just tall as hell. And just that time you spent being up, landing on the ground is just so tough, bro. It's like slow motion or whatever. And the worst part about it is he hit the shot. And it's like, that's like when it kind of just all goes to that. So yeah, man, shout out Reggie Jackson, man. He got me when I was a young bull.
We wish you would have missed, Reggie. We wish you would have missed.
I think we talked about this last time too, but in reverse as well. Like if you can steal one skill from me, like what would it be?
I wanted to say this at the beginning, but I just let you. I didn't want to jump down to all the questions. So if I could steal one skill from you, your ability to protect the rim. I think the way that you're consistently like leading the league or top 5 in blocks per game is something that is an underrated quality, and people don't really recognize that it's it's not just because you're tall. Like it's because you have to have timing and all of those things. So I feel like I get my fair share of blocks, but like
for sure
compared to you, I need to get a lot more. So that's something that I'm like I'm gonna watch some film. I'm gonna see your timing and figure out where I need to be when I need to be there.
Hell yeah, man. We love some paint protection, man. I appreciate that.
So I have a few situations that I just need to share with you because
please.
You know what? When you have toddlers, you have to be ready for anything. So the other day, Ruby was with our nanny and she was like, "Can I say something?" And our nanny was like, "What do you want to say?" And she's like, Ruby said, "Can I say Jesus Christ?" And and she was like, "Why?" And she was like, "Because when I'm crossing the road and people are beeping and honking their horns, it's just really loud." And we were like, she was like, "You know what, Ruby? You can say, 'Oh my gosh,' or 'Geez Louise.'" Mind you, Ruby's 4 years old. So,
okay.
You know what? Sometimes she's hearing things at home and like, Mars and I aren't always proud. But it's just a realistic way that we live. And then she said one more time to Maddie, she said, to our nanny, she said, "Can I say what the fuck?" And we were like,
two extremes.
We were like, no. That's for adults only. So I guess for my parents' corner, my advice would be is to watch what you say when your kids are around because they're always listening and they definitely want to repeat it. Even though I will give a shout out to Ruby, my 4-year-old. she knows when to use these words. Not that we recommend her using them, but at least she knows how to use them in context.
That is hilarious, bro. Because I feel like you're right. They're just sponges, right? They just constantly just like even when you don't even recognize, you'll just say something and they'll just regurgitate it like one of them days. You're like, what the hell? Like, who taught you that, right?
I know. The other day, I'm gonna like go off in a little tangent. The other day, I was on the phone with Teo, my 2-year-old, and he was like, "Where are you?" And I'm like, "I'm in Miami." He's like, "Why are you in Urami?" Like he was like, "Miami," and I was like, "No, I'm in like Miami, Florida." And he was like, "Urami." I'm like, "Okay, you know what? I'm in Florida." So at least they're just dissecting every single word that you say at all times. So like I said, to the parents, be careful.
I bet that's dope, man, though. You kind of get to see the development and whatnot, just how they're formulating words and thoughts and sentences, like just over time. Like I can't imagine how rewarding that is, though. That's dope. All right, man. So I do not have kids yet. One of these days I will be blessed to, call myself a parent. So this part of the segment is called New to Stewie. And I think last time, we talked about my affinity, my love for Lego, whatnot, and just, kind of getting down in that verse. But there's another hobby that I do. And I've always been big into the yoga field, man. Yoga is something that's brought a lot of balance into my life. At first I was doing it for the physical, benefits, but then there's a lot of mental and spiritual benefits that come with it as well. And, sometimes when your kids are out there and they're really just driving you insane or just kind of even pushing you to that point, one thing I would suggest are some breathing techniques, right? And there's a bunch of breathing techniques you learn and learning to use your diaphragm is like a very big thing. So there's a breath called the vortex breath. And essentially, it's a pretty kind of a quick thing, but I personally feel benefits from it right away. So explaining it real quickly, like imagine like visually in your mind of kind of like a tornado or like a helix or something like that, basically, right? Kind of going straight up to the air.
Okay.
You essentially start at the top of this helix and you're working your way down to the bottom of it. So what you do is you're going to inhale for 10 seconds, then you exhale for 10 seconds. And the most important part of all this is actually the exhale, right? So it's a time frame of 10 seconds, 8 seconds, 5 seconds, 3 seconds, 2 seconds, 1 second. That's the actual like helix. I'm saying that you're coming down and whatnot. But again, the most important part is the exhale. So I'm going to guide you through it and we can do it together if you're ready.
Come on. Yeah, I'm ready. Let's do it.
So close your eyes. And again, I want you to imagine that tornado, right? And you're at the top of that tornado. So I want you to inhale for 10 seconds. I'll count you. Ready? Inhale for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Exhale for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Then you inhale for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And exhale for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. How do you feel?
Honestly, and I'm not just saying this, I do think I feel a little bit calmer. But I wasn't thinking about the tornado while I was breathing. I was supposed to be thinking about that? Like the lines?
Not necessarily.
No?
So not necessarily. It's honestly whatever comes to you in that moment. The most important thing is just to close your eyes and just like actually focus on that breath. And I think where a lot of people get mixed up is like, it's impossible for your brain to think about nothing. I hate when people say, I'm gonna meditate and I'm gonna sit here and just think about nothing. It's impossible. You're supposed to view your thoughts as clouds, essentially, right? Like you're gonna have one thought, it's gonna pass, and there's a bunch of clouds in the sky. It's just wherever you bring your awareness to, I guess. But the whole essentially part of the vortex breath is like coming from up. You made your way up to down, and then what you do is literally go from down back up. You inhale for 1, then you inhale for 2, then 3 to 5, 8. And then afterwards, you're supposed to feel kind of like this calming kind of like effect. And then the first couple times I did it, I kind of felt like internally, like, in my head, I kind of felt like this like essential like spinning feeling, but like I wasn't dizzy. It was kind of like a weird kind of like calming feeling. But
it's just
that's
like,
something that I do.
Where am I? Yeah.
Yeah. It's something that I do like every now and then just to kind of like ground myself, or if I'm in a new environment or somewhere that I'm just kind of trying to just, make myself at again, like kind of just feel or be where my feet are, if you will. It's one of the things I like to do, and it's one of my yogic breaths and whatnot. So yeah.
Well, I really like that, and I think that I'm going to take that with me. I think that it, only being about 30 seconds, and it's just a way for you to kind of get centered and get back to where you need to be and focus on what you need to be focused on.
Power of the breath, man, is very real. For all our fans that are watching, man, tap in, man, tap in. But appreciate y'all checking us out, man. You can be part of the show. Send your questions to our social channels. Leave comments on the YouTube. And please subscribe to Game Recognized Game. We're going to see you next time.
Press that like button.